Someone was living inside our house. When my parents bought our new house, everyone said we got unbelievably lucky. It was almost $30,000 cheaper. The realtor said the previous owners had to move out quickly because of a family emergency. At the time, that explanation made perfect sense. Looking back, I think they just wanted to get out. Fast. I was 16 years old and, honestly, I loved the place. It was a 2-story house. The neighborhood felt safe. People actually waved when they drove past. Nothing about it seemed creepy. The best part, I finally had my own bedroom. It was in the finished basement. It felt like having my own apartment. For the first month, everything was perfect. Then, little things started disappearing. My phone charger, a hoodie, half a bag of beef jerky, even my favorite baseball cap. I blamed my little brother. He blamed me. My parents figured we were just being careless. Then one afternoon I came home from school and every drawer in my desk was pulled open. Not all the way, just a few inches. Almost like someone had searched through them, then tried to put everything back. I asked my parents if they'd been looking for something. They both said no. That was the first time I felt uneasy. A week later, I woke up around 2:30 in the morning because of a smell. Fresh coffee. I sat up in bed. Who the heck was making coffee at 2 in the morning? I walked upstairs. Every light was off. The kitchen was empty. The coffee pot was cold. When I got back downstairs, the smell was gone. I told myself I was dreaming. It was easier than admitting something felt wrong. Over the next few weeks, the noises started. A soft bump above my ceiling. Footsteps that stopped whenever I stopped walking. Once, I heard someone cough. A deep cough. Definitely not my dad. My parents never heard anything. My little brother never heard anything. Eventually, I stopped mentioning it. Then came the night everything changed. My parents went out to celebrate their anniversary. They asked me to watch my 8-year-old brother. Easy enough. We ordered pizza, played Xbox. Around 10, he went upstairs to bed. I stayed downstairs watching a basketball game. That's when the power flickered. Just once. My phone buzzed a second later. It was a motion alert from our indoor security camera. I opened the app. The camera was pointed toward the upstairs hallway. At first, I didn't see anything. Then, a shadow crossed the hallway. I figured it was my brother, so I called his name. No answer. I checked the camera again. Nothing. Then another notification popped up. Motion detected. Basement. My stomach dropped. I was in the basement. I slowly turned around. Nobody. I refreshed the camera feed. This time, the screen showed someone walking behind my couch. I spun around so fast, I nearly fell over. Still, nobody. Then I realized something. The security cameras had a delay, about 10 seconds. Whoever had walked behind me had already moved. I grabbed the fireplace poker and backed toward the basement stairs. Every step felt heavier than the last. Halfway up, I heard it. The door closing, above me. I locked my brother inside my parents' bedroom and called 911. The dispatcher told us to stay where we were. Officers arrived less than 5 minutes later. They searched every room. Nothing. No broken windows, no forced entry. No one inside. I honestly thought I had imagined everything, until one officer stopped in my room. He looked at the built-in bookshelf beside my bed. Then he asked, "Does this open?" I laughed. "It doesn't." He pushed on it anyway. It moved. The entire bookshelf slowly swung inward. Behind it, was a narrow, hidden space running between the concrete foundation and the finished wall. The beam from the officer's flashlight revealed blankets, food wrappers, empty water bottles, a backpack, and dozens of my missing things. Someone had been living inside our house. Then another officer shouted, "I found an exit!" At the far end of the hidden space, a small access panel opened into the crawl space beneath the back porch. It was just big enough for someone to squeeze through. The person was gone. The detective believed they'd been living there for months, maybe longer. We packed our things the very next weekend. None of us wanted to spend another night there. Loading boxes into the moving truck. I went downstairs one last time. I don't know why. Inside the hidden room, I found a small, spiral notebook. Most of the pages were blank, but a few had dates, our schedules, the times my parents left for work, the days my brother had soccer practice, the nights I stayed up late gaming. Then I turned to the last page. There was only one sentence, written in messy black ink. "You almost found me 3 weeks ago." My heart stopped. 3 weeks earlier, I'd woken up in the middle of the night because I thought I heard breathing beside my bed. I checked my room, looked in the closet, even under the bed. Then I laughed at myself, turned off the light, and went back to sleep. I never once thought to check behind the bookshelf. Sometimes I still wonder how many nights he stood only a few feet away from me, listening and waiting for me to fall asleep.
The man who waited outside my window. I've never told this story to many people, mostly because I know how it sounds. If someone had told me the same thing a few years ago, I probably wouldn't have believed them either. I was 17 years old when my family moved into a quiet neighborhood just outside Indianapolis. It was the kind of place where people forgot to lock their doors. Kids played basketball until sunset. Neighbors waved every morning. Nothing bad ever seemed to happen there. My bedroom was on the second floor, facing the street. I had a large window beside my desk where I'd spend hours playing games, doing homework, or just listening to music before bed. From that window, I could see almost the entire cul-de-sac. For the first month, life was completely normal. Then one night, everything changed. It was almost midnight. I looked away from my computer for only a second. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed someone standing across the street beneath a large maple tree. He wasn't walking. He wasn't on his phone. He wasn't even looking around. He was just standing there, facing my house. I figured he was waiting for someone, so I went back to what I was doing. A few minutes later, I looked outside again. He was gone. I didn't think much of it until I saw him again. 3 nights later, same time, same tree, same person, standing perfectly still, looking toward my bedroom. This time, I watched him for almost a full minute. He never moved, not once. Then a car drove through the neighborhood. Its headlights lit up the street for just a second. When they passed, the man was gone. I told myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe he lived nearby. Maybe he was waiting for a ride. Maybe I was just overthinking it. But over the next few weeks, he kept coming back, always late at night, always standing somewhere he could see my window, sometimes beneath the tree, sometimes near the mailbox, sometimes beside a parked car, always watching, never moving. I stopped opening my blinds at night. I moved my desk away from the window. Even then, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was looking at me. One Friday, my parents went to visit my grandparents for the evening. I stayed home alone. Around 11, I went downstairs to grab something to drink. As I walked through the living room, something made me glance toward the front window. There he was, closer than ever, standing on the sidewalk directly in front of our house. Not knocking, not trying to get in, just looking inside. I froze. He slowly lifted his head until he was staring straight at me. I ducked behind the wall without thinking. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. I waited almost a minute before risking another look. He was gone. I locked every door in the house, turned off every downstairs light, then called my dad and asked him to come home. I didn't tell him everything. I just said someone had been standing outside. The next morning, my dad checked around the yard. Nothing seemed out of place until he noticed muddy footprints beneath my bedroom window. Not one set, several, like someone had been standing there over and over again. My parents finally believed me. That weekend, my dad installed brighter floodlights around the house. We also kept every curtain closed after dark. I never saw the man again, at least not outside our house. About 6 months later, we were cleaning out the garage before moving. I opened an old storage cabinet near the back wall. Inside was one of my hoodies, the same grey hoodie that had disappeared months before, folded neatly. None of us remembered putting it there. My dad said maybe we'd misplaced it during the move. Maybe. But here's what still bothers me. The hoodie smelled like damp leaves and cigarette smoke, neither of which had ever been inside our house. Sometimes, late at night, I'll catch myself looking out a second-floor window, not because I expect to see him, but because I'm afraid. One night, I'll look across the street, and he'll already be standing there, waiting.